and we are live. Welcome THP Universe. This is JDax. Joining. I'm gonna get my banners correct. I'm gonna let people jump in. We don't have anyone watching yet.
We got people in the comments.
The comments are blowing up.
Okay, we are live. We're going to talk of welcome THP Universe. We are going to talk about one of my favorite events, the 2023 Budget Golf Championship with Bag Boy. Joining me today to talk about all of the action that you're going to see from Ballyhack. I'll start off first with multiple event veteran, a winner of a Morgan Cup, among other things. You know him because you tag him all the time. M. Ward is here. Wardy, say hello to the THP Universe.
I'm just shocked there's an event going on. What? I didn't know this was even happening.
Also joining me, and you know, we're equal opportunity here. Member of a winning team Paradise. The last time we saw Scoob, he was winning at the Quest Cup. Oh, he's
see this, Wardy? Just wanted to show you.
Oh, hold on a second. I was looking in the comments. What are we doing now?
Scooby 45 is here. Say hi, Scoob, to the THP.
What's up, THP? We are excited for this one tonight.
And also joining us, very special event to him, the winner of the 2018 THP Championship with a guy named Just a Hack who's not around anymore. Illiterate is here. Notice I didn't talk about your last outing yet.
We could talk about yours, though. Oh,
let's not. Yeah. So the last time I played, I lost a Morgan Cup, unfortunately, but I did win the rivalry. I've also played in the THP Championship. Of course, y'all know me as JDax, and I will do my best with the pronunciations as we go through this tonight. So I'm glad that we've already got a lot of action in the chat. It appears. I'm loving everyone that has joined us live. Most people do watch after the fact, by the way. So let's talk about first, before we get to why this event is special, I'm going to start with Illiterate. You won this thing. Okay. So I'm going to go around the horn and we're going to talk about why this is such a cool event and why it's special to us.
Well, first, Budget Golf. Thank you. You guys have been putting this on, for many years, and your partnership with THP is amazing. It's just great having them around, and it is special to me because I did pull out a W about 5 years ago. There's a lot going on at that time, a lot of changes, but yeah, we pulled that out, and that was a lot of fun. That was the duel in the desert, as we call it. But yeah, this event is really special to me. It's been around for a long time. I think Dax and I, when we used to play together, we called it one of the THP majors. So having a W on this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Wardy, what are your thoughts related to?
I've done a championship. It wasn't with Budget Golf, unfortunately. But Budget Golf has been a sponsor of THP for several years now. They put on some darn good events. Bag Boy throwing down and being in this one makes it just a little bit more special. And playing a Dormy Network course, especially Ballyhack, it's a heck of a course. I hope you like goats. I personally don't, but I can get over it because the layout of that course is absolutely spectacular. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be really, really, really hard for the boys. And since I'm not playing in it, I love this course even more. Like, I hope they tip it. I hope the rough's like 7 inches long. I hope there's carnage. I hope Dean gets lost in like one of the little valleys and stuff.
That we're going to talk possible.
Dean said you were on the toilet, Wardy.
I'm not on the toilet. I'm just sitting down in a chair. I need to use my phone right now because my internet's as trash as Crypto Caveman's team is.
Scoob, that gives me a great place to segue to Scoob. Scoob, what are your thoughts on the championship? I love this event, but why do you?
Man, I think one, it's the longevity of it that Illiterate spoke to. And then two, the dynamic of the two-man teams, the interplay between the THPers on the form that we see leading up to this, all the swag that they've put together. My support can be bought, and I think like a lot of the other folks out there. So that interplay and that dance we get on the forum, it makes this one special.
Yeah, I love this one for a variety of different reasons. It's unique in the THP ecosystem with the two-man teams, right?
The biggest field of the year, like the PGA Championship.
One of the biggest fields of it is the biggest field of the year. The format, although I do love it, it's changed from year to year, so it's hard to get a true sort of scoring comparison. But like if you just look back, like it's one of the events that usually provides a really great finish. Okay, like 2016 goes all the way to the end, 36 holes, TPC Vegas. There's a par putt, about a 4-foot par putt on the 36th hole to force a playoff. It never touches the hole. In the end, Midwestern Irish Twins won by a stroke. 2017 was that bloodbath at Cog Hill. It was a weirder format. It was 36 holes, but the format changed per 9. They get to the back 9 alt shot at Dubstred, and everyone falls apart. Like it was just
Dubstred's impossible.
Carnage, absolute carnage. Swedish Tiger ends up surviving that championship, but the winning score was plus 13, and that was only 3 clear. 2018, that was the duel in the desert, the talking stick. It came down to the end. At the end of day one, which was 18-hole shamble. It's very similar to this format, by the way. It was when we mentioned in 2018 a little bit. It had an 18-hole and then an alternate shot 9, and then best ball on the last day. -5 led at the end of day one, and then -11 was the winning score, 2 shots clear. And we saw some great runs in best ball that year. Mike, your team en route to the win shot a 30 on the back to get it to 11 under, and it held up. And there was a couple of teams, including mine included, that shot a 29 on that back 9 and made a run up the leaderboard. I did finish.
I went back and looked, Dax. You sent me that link the other night, and I went back and looked because I was trying to figure out, like, all right, when did we make the run? And we came out, and I think we birdied like the second hole, then we bogeyed like the third or fourth hole, and we're sitting even par on day 2, like through 7 holes, and then we finished this thing 8 under, like the last 12, 11 or 12 holes was crazy. And we just ended up getting up in front of the field. We put a number out there, and people had something to go after. It was pretty cool.
Also, like even if you look at 2019, the duel at Coeur d'Alene, right? Like with the Mounties and Purple Rain, the lead changes hands 4 different times on the back 9 on the final day of that event, with the Mounties outlasting Purple Rain by a shot. And last year was just a war of attrition on the second day. With the combined score format, the median score of the field last year in the Shamble combined score format was plus 13. We opened the gate with that format this year. Let's talk about this golf course though, because I think this golf course is going to end up being the winner, right? Like I think that there is going to be a team that's going to be crowned a worthy champion at the end of this. But at the end of it, everyone's going to say that not only did the people at home that took time to watch the live thread won, because it's going to be super exciting, but at the end, I think they're going to say that Ballyhack won. And I love Ballyhack. It's my favorite golf course of all time. I've played. In fact, I'm going to go out and do some THP sacrilege real quick. I prefer Ballyhack to the Hideaway, and I played them both.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said in your life.
No, dude.
No,
I'm telling you. I am telling you from a golf. Maybe not with the drink ninjas and the comfort stations, and the Hideaway is special. I'm talking about just pure golf course design.
Oh, it's a beautiful track. I agree.
This track, you can't do much better than that. Scoob, I'll start with you around the horn. Thoughts on Ballyhack?
It's such a good looking course. You get that half links, half mountain golf, and that speaks to me. I'd love to get out there, and it's not easy. I think we're gonna see that, especially with the formats that I think we're gonna talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Wardy, you had a lot to say. I mean, after my sacrilege comment.
I mean, how dare you?
I just love the place. It's a very special place.
It's a beautiful course. It's got a lot of open fairways. I can see that the green complexes look challenging. I'm really glad I'm not putting on them. I hope you like sand because there's a lot of it. It looks like a good track. I mean, they're goats. That's the reason it's not my preferred. I don't like goats.
Illiterate, your thoughts on Ballyhack?
I mean, from everything I've seen picture wise, and I've got a buddy that's a member out there as well, and they talk about it all the time. It's one of his favorite courses too, and I'm excited to get out there at some point myself. And it's the goats are really cool. I've got a Puma pick me up a shirt from when he played the Goat Cup last year, and so I repped that the other day, and that was nice. But yeah, man, the course is fantastic. You know, link style, you can't beat that. It's like home for you and I, Dak.
Yeah, it's link style, but it offers a little bit more challenges, and you're going to have to respect some of these places on this course, like because it's link style, but there's a lot of elevation change, and depending upon the wind direction, club selection could become a mystery. Right now, I didn't get some of this down. I played 72 in February with me and Josh and Maynard. Went out there and played it. We played like 72 holes and the goat track. Like I could barely walk when this was over with. Is bad, but there are some places and some holes on that course that you have to respect, or it could lead to a big number, especially with the format that we're going to see. Let's talk about some of the key holes that the participants are going to be taking a look at. I think there's some harder holes, like there's holes that you need to like hang on and survive, and there's some holes that you need to make sure you score on. And that's no different than any of these other dormy properties. There's no different than any of these other places that we go for events, but it's going to be very important when we get to the formats. We'll talk about how important it's going to be that you survive some of the tougher holes. And out of the gate, the course sort of eases itself in. I did not find the first, second, nor the third as a scoring hole that difficult. But by the time you get to the fourth hole, that's when you sort of get goat kicked. Okay, like the fourth hole could be massive trouble for the participants, and then 5 is not much easier when you're looking at holes, and then 9 is a par 5, and you think you're going to have a chance to score, but it's very hard. You're not getting home in 2. Because it's usually we played it into the prevailing wind every day that we were there, and that the third, if you lay up, the third shot is very, very difficult to a multi-tiered green complex, and depending upon where they put the pin, 5 sometimes is a good score there.
Dax, do we know what tees they're playing?
When we played there, we played a combo set of tees. So so we played like Ballyhack and another name of the tees, but it was somewhere around like 6,400, 6,500.
Probably Ballyhack and Star.
Yeah, it was like a combo between Ballyhack and Star.
Those speak to 3 a little bit, because I know you said 3 was gettable, and from my perspective, you know, you're nervous on 1, maybe still settling the nerves on 2. When you look at that tee shot on 3, the first par 3. It doesn't look easy. There's no place to miss.
Now, I will say that it's gettable depending upon pin position. Okay, so let me just start there. When the days that we played it, they had put the pin, and it's got multiple levels. That green does, and then there's a bunker complex that guards it. Every day that we played it, they put that pin sort of in the bottom of one of the bowls. Okay, so if you were able to get the distance correct, carry the bunker, everything that hit the green funneled toward the hole. Now, one of the days I left one, it was in the bowl, and I left it out to the right, and then it looked like this Pirates Cove type of putt, just trying to like get it back toward the right level into the right place of the hole. So I think depending upon pin location, 3 is gettable, and that's going to be a lot of what the holes of the course are. There's some impossible pins out here. I don't know how tricked out they're going to be. I will say this: if the participants are watching, if you want to get out to the right start, like it took me almost like 2 rounds in before I realized that second shot on 1, you needed to take an extra club. Okay. Like you cannot leave that one short. There's a huge false front there. It can roll all the way back to you. Just trust me on that. Take one more club than you think it is, and thank me in the live thread when you're on the green instead of like down at the bottom.
So let me then, if we're gonna stay on the front nine, let me ask you about 6.
I like
drivable.
Maybe
for some.
Maybe
in a shamble, is it worth the go if you get one in the fairway? Or is the penalty on the miss too big?
Well, I mean, I saw Maynard picking up. Like Maynard went for it a couple of the times that we played it, and he didn't get there. And he tried to play that second shot out of the marsh, and that's impossible. I wouldn't do it. Like I think that you have to put one in the fairway. There's a spot where the golf cart path starts like to the right of one of the bunkers. Just take a hybrid at that. All you have to do is be somewhere in the fairway there, and you can put it on and make a putt. There's no need to make that to bring a big number into play on that type of hole if you don't have to.
Now, why are you talking down the carnage? We're here for the carnage.
We want like U.S. Open carnage, Dax.
It could. I mean, I think that it could be on the back nine. Some of the key holes to survive. 12 is tough. Like that's just a tough tee shot. Second shot's tough. There could be blood there. 14 is no bargain either. 16. Watch the guy on the guy on the video that talks you to sleep. He even talks about how hard 16 is, and 18, depending upon where the pin is, that it's going to be tough to get it close to the pin. I think that if you could survive those 4 holes, the back nine is a little bit easier to score on, especially the 15th hole. 10 and 11 and 15, you need to make something happen there. 2 of those are par 5s, the 10 and the 15th. On the front, 6 and 8. And 6 is, I think 6 you can score there, but you could also bring a number into play if you don't have one in the fairway. What were your thoughts on the course, Illiterate, as you took a look at the flyovers and stuff like that?
I mean, it's a beautiful course. Like I said, there's a lot of multi-tiered greens. The course gives you kind of a wide open feel, but there's trouble everywhere, you kind of feel. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out. Very excited to see how it plays out, especially the combined score. I think we've talked a lot in the past about carnage being an alternate shot. I think the combined score is going to eat some lunches as well. We're going to see some, play plus numbers win this thing.
All right. Anybody have anything else on the gorgeousness of the course as we're 18 minutes in?
Personally, I look forward to hole 16. I will be very grumpy if they play from the third tee box up, the yellow tee box. I'll be sad. I want them playing at 460. I want them to feel what a big boy par 4 feels like. I don't have to play it, so it's awesome.
A lot of times 16's into the prevailing though, dude. And
yes, I don't care. Let them suffer.
I just want to know what the pucker factor is on 18 with that oak tree guarding the right. How narrow is that fairway?
It is kind of narrow.
It's a little snug looking.
Okay, it is snug looking, but every time that we played it, we took it down the left-hand side, and if you hit it on the slope, like the mounds on the left, it all funneled back to the fairway.
Well, that's nice in February. We'll see what it looks like in May on that hillside.
Right. I don't know what that hillside's going to look like. When in February, we got away with it. Like you just blew it down the left-hand side and got a kick to the right.
Dean wants to play the tips for the record.
Dean, how long is 16 from the tips?
Oh, it's like 478 or something like that. Let me take a peek real quick.
491.
491.
491.
Oh, yeah. That's a par 5 for us.
491.
Dax, if you were a betting man, allegedly, how many people top it into the junk on 1? What would you put the over-under on that? 2.5.
2.5. You know what? You don't need driver there though, guys.
Oh no, it's a shorty.
Like you can hit 3-wood easy, no doubt. So like just take you a club, get loose and go with it. Let's talk about the field before we get to talking about the teams in the format. The median handicap here for the field is 12.5, 12.5. That's a little higher than it was last year, by the way. Like I think it was like 10-8 last year. But there's a lot of mix here. You've got some low. You have a low team in here. You've got a low high team. You got some mids going on. What do y'all think about like sort of just the makeup of the field? We'll get to each individual team, but this is the section that we're going to talk about just the field altogether. Scoob.
I mean, I think you hit it on the head with the difficulty of this course, like we just talked about, and the average cap ticking up a couple more points than years past. There's going to be some golf that they need to play, and we're going to see if it happens, because it could take a big number and still be a winner here.
Illiterate. Thoughts on the field?
Yeah, I looked at the handicaps, and Jank is the lowest handicap in the field at 5.2, and with the highest is just under 28. And I feel like this is one of the first events that we've covered in a while that we've not had like a 1 or 2 handicap in here. So I think we're going to find, as we watch and kind of see the scores come in, what happens, we're going to find a lot of relatable golf out there. I mean, there's sixes, lots of eights, there's some 14s, 15s. I mean, it's got a great mix of golfers and skill levels. And I think anybody that's in this field has a chance to win this week.
Anyone. Scoob, thoughts on the field?
Oh, are we going to pretend M-word doesn't exist right now?
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? I'm not allowed to swear.
Okay,
I'm okay with that after one of the after earlier.
I'm sorry, Wardy. Thoughts
Well,
on
I
the
mean, I learned there was actually an event going on about 53 minutes ago, so you have to bear with me here. I find it funny that the handicaps went up about 2 points, with Scooby here especially, and there being a lot of sand on this course. I just can't help but notice those 3 things really. There's a word for it. Scooby, you know what word I'm thinking of? It seems like you would know that word.
Victory.
That's not the word. That's definitely not the word. I believe it's called sandbagging. No, it's sandbagging. I'm guessing some scores have been creeping up on purpose just because, the internet's full of scratch golfers. How do we have an average handicap of 12.5? Some scores have been padded, especially Dean.
Okay, moving on to the format. I will want to spend some time here. As someone just told me to cut Wardy off in the live chat. Dude, man, can we get any sterner test than this with the format? Like, so you start off 18 holes, Shamble combined score. I actually advocated for this and sort of lobbied to have a combined score return. We've seen combined score used a couple of different times. 2019 Ben Hogan event, on the day 2 Shamble combined score was the format, 18 holes. We saw it last year on the second day of the Budget Golf Championship. But not only do we get combined score on day 1, we get alt shot, 9-hole alt shot. I'll start with Wardy on this one. Man, what did you think when you saw this day 1 format? I mean, I'll get to day 2 in a second.
I love it. Man. I mean, I think honestly, it's the best way to roll into an event. My club member guest, shout out to my head pro, who's playing the PGA Championship tomorrow. Good luck, bud. The group shamble is a great way to start. It kind of like, all right, we're kind of shaking. We got some first tee nerves. Someone can go, all right, just God, please get us in play. And you can kind of loosen up and start to vibe. Because the alt shot's going to kick you right in the teeth. That's kind of, you get about 9 holes or so to figure out, all right, oh God, who's going to do this? What I don't know, is it a modified alt shot or a straight up alt shot? I assume it's straight up, but.
Straight. I was told it was straight up.
Okay, in that case, yeah, that's what I thought, but the last second couldn't remember. There's going to be some carnage, and best of luck to whoever
Well, you
tees
just
off on
found out
16.
53 minutes ago, Wardy, that the
See,
event was
I know.
happening.
That's why I'm like, oh God, what's even alt shot?
So
No, I think it's going to be
here's the
fun.
thing, Wardy. I mean, this is unique to what we normally see. Normally, at these the competitive experiences, we're sort of eased in a little bit. Like, okay, we usually start off with shamble best ball, right? That gives a situation where if you do have a low high, maybe the high can get through some of the nerves and they can be in their pocket and the low can not carry the water, and there can be some ham and egging going on, and before you know it, this team posts a great number. This day one format doesn't leave a whole lot of margin for error, and there's nowhere really to hide because you can't have someone in their pocket. They have to hold it out. Like, I think the max is what, triple? I think that's what Josh said, that it was going to be triple max.
Thought it was net double.
Net triple or net double?
Is it net?
Net double is my understanding.
Net double. Okay. So that may limited some of the carnage. Scoob, what did you think about the day one format?
I mean, I love it, especially with the two-man teams, because you, like you said, Dax, you can't hide. Everyone has to contribute, and it's gonna crown a winner at the end of this.
Yeah, they're telling me in the chat that it's max net double. Still,
yeah.
What about the swings, illiterate? Like, you come out combined score, there could be some massive swings here. Like I said before, the median score of this format last year was 13 over. Like, that was the average score. The best score in that entire session was even par, slinging bags. Okay, shot even.
Yeah.
And that was the best score during this format. What about the swings of combined score?
I think that if you're going out there to play this weekend, I think you've got to have in your mind that there's going to be holes where you're going to give some back, and you're just going to have to move on to the next hole. To Dax's point, the median score last year was 13 over. Best score was even par. I mean, the combined score does add an extra element to that, but hopefully somebody can get one in play, for each team, and it'll eliminate maybe some of the maxes that we see out there, but you can't lose it on day one.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, I remember when we played, Dax, you were there. I think we bogeyed the first hole and ended up winning it. So it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. So just stick with it. Each hole's a new hole. You're going to have holes that you're going to give maybe 3-4 shots back, but then you're going to have holes where maybe you both are making net birdie, you're getting a couple back. You just never know. But my best advice is just hang in there and just take the bad with it, and don't let yourself get too down. Remember, you're out there having fun. You're with the Budget Golf and Bag Boy and THP, and everything is good in the world. So
I'm gonna I think that the important thing to learn about day one and the format here is that you can't win this thing on day one, but you can definitely lose it on day one. Because best ball sets up for runs. Okay, we've seen multiple best ball runs through the history of this event. In fact, we're sitting with a guy that y'all shot a 61, 30 on the back to finish 8 under. You started the day 3 back though. You started the day 3 back and won by 2. Okay, there's runs that can be made in best ball, especially if you got someone that can take advantage of their pops. But you can't have shot yourself out of this thing on day one because you're not in the position to make the run, and that's going to be what the most important. What team can keep themselves in the mix to make a run on best ball on that second day is going to be the most important. Hold on, I have a special guest. Who, before we get to the teams, let me go ahead and put probably his pick on the board, but he wants to come in and give his pick.
Oh boy.
Captain Maynard
is
joining us live from somewhere.
We are in a bar. Hey, what's going on, THP?
Nice.
Good to see everyone. It's probably a little loud.
Yeah. So who's your pick?
It's been been tough going through. I've kind of looked at the teams, who I was going to back, but I think I've got to go with this group right here.
Oh, that's why he's out. That's some sneaky
That's my
stuff.
pick.
Okay. All right. So you're
Okay.
going with Anime Gods. Odds on favorite 2-1. Thanks, Cap. Bye. All
That's
right.
hilarious.
Let's get the captain out of here. That was good timing because we're going to talk about the teams now and what they have to do in order to be crowned the champion at the end of this 2-day street fight. So starting first, odds on favorite, Anime Gods. They open at 2-1. You get Much More. You get X Thor, the artist formerly known as Much Thor. Okay, a 6.1 and a 6.5. You get 2 of the 3 lowest caps in the field together. You get a low here. What's not to like? The THP universe checks notes. 18.4% of the picks are in on them, so that's the second highest handle. I moved them from 3-1 to 2-1 because it got hammered. That line got hammered. It's like, can I make this high enough for people not to take the Anime Gods? We've seen them at a Granddaddy. They have played together before at the Granddaddy, and now they get to tag team here to try to win the THP Championship. They are the odds-on favorite. Scoob, what is your thoughts about Anime Gods?
So I'm loving the cameo, but it does bring a question. Could go either way. So they're obviously together Wednesday, right? Today's Wednesday. We got 5 days still going. So they're going to be on a fun train with those two for sure. Plus side, Much More gets plenty of time to figure out what bag he wants to pull out of X-Thor's trunk for the event. But are they going to get worn down by the time it gets to Monday, Tuesday when it's game time?
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying that there could be a slight bender that they're on, and you're concerned.
I mean, I think you all have probably been on golf trips by day 3 or 4. Sometimes it gets a little stiff. I mean, X-Thor played a even round par the other day, but he was coming in fresh. By day 3 or 4, the back's a little tight. We'll see. That sounds like a blast. I'm a little envious that I'm here and they're having a ball.
They are having a ball. Wardy, what are your thoughts on Anime Gods?
So you're not wrong about when you go on a boys trip about day 3 or 4. The body starts to tighten up a little bit, but you forget one thing. Much More's from Montana. He's used to A, wild horses, and B, high altitude training. He's going to be fine.
High altitude.
Thor, you can't pick a screen name named Thor if you're not the god of thunder and can just bring it all the time. He can carry Much More all day if he has to. He's got the strength to do it.
Look,
Much More is a moose. He's basically a moose, so he can carry X-Thor if he needs to.
Well, see, they ham and egg. Absolutely.
I am concerned. Remember, the cottages that they're staying in don't have the steam showers. Okay, so let's just make sure that, I don't know how that's going to do for their recovery. I think it was worth 3 shots to me. Okay, in my steam shower experience at Ballyhack. Illiterate, what are your thoughts on Anime Gods?
Listen, I've had the honor and privilege to play with both of these guys, and I've got to partner with Much More. And man, great guy, fun guy to play with. When I played with X-Thor Neil, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time, and both of these guys are pretty consistent. And I think if they're gonna win this thing, they got to keep it in play. And X-Thor is fantastic off the tee. Chris has got some length, but he could spray it a little bit to the left. He's a lefty, but yeah, both of these guys are solid. Much More's iron game is solid. His short game is solid. There's not a lot of weakness here in his game, and there's not a lot to not like here. I know I'm putting them over. They're not going to be my pick in the end, but these guys are definitely going to be there and have something to say come into the weekend.
They come in 6 strokes lower than the median average, right?
Yeah.
They have played together. They're the type of pairing that can keep their head above water on day 1. Do we all agree to that? We're like, yeah. I mean, we don't see a whole lot of carnage, and if we all think that this is going to be a war of attrition, it's going to be massive carnage on day 1. Then maybe someone that could keep their ball around even It looks really, really good, and this is why the THP Universe, they're the second favorite of the THP Universe. I think one thing to point out about them is that there aren't many pops to have with these two. Okay, especially at 70%, right? Especially an alternate shot where it's 100%, but it's a half of a half, right? And then when they get to best ball, they're getting 6, maybe 7, each. There's not a lot of pops, right? So this is the type of team, like, you need this horse to run in the lead and go wire to wire and just sort of hold on, because there could be some best ball runs that come at them. The second team, second favorite of the group. They were co-favorite when I posted this. The THP Universe, checking notes, doesn't like them though. Only 7.89% of the handle is on the Vatican. This has got Craig from Bag Boy, Scott from Budget. This profile of team is kind of, like when we've done this before, Mike, I love low mids and I love mid mids in this competition, right? I usually don't like low lows together, even though we just talked about a low low. I usually think mid mids and low mids are where it's at. Here's a low mid, right? You get a 7 with an 8. Things can happen. Craig played in this event last year on the team Slinging Bags. Remember, they were the only team that wasn't plus on the plus side of par during the combined score format. He gets a very similar partner handicap-wise than the partner he had last year on Slinging Bags. What am I missing? The THP Universe doesn't like them. I think this is the type of team that can go deep. Wardy, what are your thoughts on the Vatican?
They would probably be my second pick as far as favorites. 2 reasons. One, they're both in the industry. These boys are just happy to not be working. They're probably going to have the most fun, more than first and fun, because they ain't going to have to work all that hard. They can let their hair down. They can just have a day. They're going to be very, very relaxed. They have no expectations. They will be fine. I do think, though, at the end of the day, because they don't play a whole lot of golf, because they do work in the industry, a little bit of fatigue mentally, and once the heat starts to get to them, that's where I think there's going to be a struggle.
Scoob, Vatican.
I don't understand why THP doesn't like them, because last I looked, the Bag Boy Nitron, my opinion, the best push card on the market, is on sale at Budget Golf. How do you not like it?
I love it. I love the Bag Boy stuff and Budget. What about the team though, Scoob?
I think they're going to be right there. We saw it last year with Craig and Slinging Bags, but I think Wardy was spot on. Can they make that run on day 2?
Yeah, I mean, with the 2 8s, I mean they're sort of in the same position as Anime Gods. Not a lot of pops to be had, right? We're going to talk about some teams that are going to be straight up avalanche of them. Illiterate, thoughts on the Vatican?
Well, Scott's a great guy. He's helped me out with a couple things over the years, over there at Budget. So shout out to him. I know he's watching. Great to see you get to play this year. And what's funny is that this team was like tied for the lowest percentage of picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this team could surprise some people. I mean, to your point last year, Craig, that was the only one even par after that first day. But, also, think about this. They may not get out and play and as much as some of the other guys do, the mental fatigue. And with this being, adding an extra element this year of the combined score, you got to be in all 18, for that first 18. Then you got to turn around and go all shot where you're dialed in. The mental fatigue is going to be real, potentially for this group after day 1. And then you got to go out and play a best ball where maybe you get a little bit of relief. So, hey, you blow one into the crap over to the right, your partner's down the fairway. All right, I can take the hole off and cheer my partner and caddy him on. You can't do that day 1. You're going to have to play a full 27 and be engaged every hole.
So what you're saying is no power save mode at this event.
Power save mode it is.
Well, I mean, we'll get to where that's going to be important here in a second. Wardy, thoughts on the Vatican?
I already gave my thoughts.
Oh, my bad. I went around the horn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
You hit Wardy first. It's all good.
Okay. So I'll hit you first next. Crypto Caveman. Yeah. So here's Crypto Caveman. They come in at 6-1. This is another mid, right? So we saw an 8, like a 7 and an 8. Before we see sort of a 9 and 8, or I probably adjusted a couple 9s. So this is like the true sort of ham and egg mid. We get Esteban Chico, international man of mystery. We don't know a whole lot. We know that he's got phenomenal calves. We know that he's battle ready. He's been on Team Paradise. He's won in Morgan Cup. I think they've embraced the moment with the Encino man, or me mispronouncing this, because Wheeze the Juice is on there, sort of like weirdly looking like Baphomet insignia thing guy. I really like this team a lot. The THP Universe also at 7.89, second. They're tied for the lowest amount of handle, and when I say handle, I mean number of picks. I don't know why though. I don't know why. The combined handicap is 4 strokes lower than the median average. This is the type of pairing that could make some pops pay off in best ball. They're going to get an adjusted probably 9, maybe 10 there, right? Like what? I mean, JBB 2388 has been remarkably, like, sort of silently confident, like he knows something the rest of us don't. Like what's going on here? I'm going to start with illiterate. Talk to me about Crypto Caveman.
Well, I think probably the unpopular pick amongst the THP universe is because, one, we can't pronounce Ichino's name or Ichiko. And then you've got like initials and numbers, like that's like double whammy, so that's -1 for both of those guys. But JBB 2388 is like tearing up the chat here. I love it. He is definitely pumped, and I like this guy already. I feel like he's probably an 8.5 that's really a 4, and he's going to show up and just tear this course alive.
I mean, do you think they're going to be munching on some nugs and wheezing the juice, Scoob? Like what? I mean, is this the dark horse team of this whole thing?
I mean, it very well might be. We've seen the confidence from JBB on the forum. He's got a bag, TSR2 driver, 923 forge irons, S23 wedges, all new stuff. I don't know if Randy from Budget, who does the custom work there, hooked him up with that or not. And then you've got Ichiko also with some new sticks, some Cobra CBs, and we've seen him know how to win trophies. I'm out with the Arizona guys. He's won a trophy. He's won it with the Morgan Cup. So I think we're probably sleeping on him a little bit. I think they're going to show up. With Crypto Cavemen, they could show up and be altcoins, but I don't think that's going to be the case. They're going to be there.
Are they Dogecoin? Are they Dogecoin? Are we going all the way to the moon? Are we going to have diamond hands? We're going to have to hold on day 2 for this group. Wardy, what's your thoughts on them, Crypto Caveman?
Realistically, they probably are a dark horse pick. Because I stubbed my toe into a cabinet underneath where my desk is right now, and I'm angry about it. I'm going to blast this team and just see who's actually paying attention. I think they are going to be the Luna of crypto. And by that, I mean, they're going to absolutely just have the bottom come out from underneath them. JBB will show up. Arizona is going to be about 3 hours behind the actual event, and he'll eventually catch up, but it's not going to be pretty. Realistically, they probably finish in the top 3, but I'm also going to say they finish last and just see who's paying attention.
Look, it doesn't matter if I've called this guy El Camino.
Oh, someone's mad in the chat.
It doesn't matter if Encino, El Camino, El Chiesta. I love the backstory. I love the whole 9 yards. It doesn't matter what I've called you. At the end of this, you could be called champion. Moving on.
Dax's favorite is MTB Bloco, as they used to call him.
Oh,
is in the
Jesus.
chat. MT Bloco.
Blocko, whatever. Let's talk about what I think is sort of the best value on the board, right? You get Josh, You get the dean of THP. You get another mid. You get Josh.
We have an error here, by the way. Josh is a 10.
Okay.
Double digits.
9.8, 10. I mean, we're
Whatever.
what's the
It's gonna
difference?
adjust to the
It's
same.
gonna round to 10 no matter what.
I mean, look, they're battle tested. You know, they sort of have all the profile of someone that could win this thing, right? Mid, a lot of experience, played together before. No one knows Ballyhack in this field better than Josh does. Like, I think that those are the positives. Some of the key questions here is how healthy is Josh, right? Like, this is a lot of holes. Illiterate said it earlier. You can't go to power save mode here, right?
Not day one.
Not day one. So, like, it's gonna be, you have to play all the way through. He just got out of a goat cup where, because of the fist fight that those matches went into, he wasn't like he went totally into power save mode on day one there and then lost his singles match on day two. I think that Dean can carry him around. I'll start Scooby first.
So, conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
The format was set up by JB because we've seen him all year. Day one, play nails. I was in a cart with him. He was nailing it at the Quest Cup. We've seen it continually at all the events. Day two, it gets a little loose. That's what we've seen this year. But you've got Dean, best ball to pick him up. So I think the format suits them well. They know the course. Can they bring it home on day two with the best ball? Is there enough fresca at the comfort stations?
Right. Is there enough fresca? You know, whoever, I don't know who's going out with Josh, but you may, like, if you want to rattle him, I still don't recommend like walking out of one of them cottages with the can transfusion in your hand. Okay, like I just don't
that
recommend.
won't go well.
Plus, why would you do that to yourself?
Wardy, gamesmanship. Wardy, talk to me about First and Fun.
All right. So I mentioned earlier that the Vatican may be the loosest group there. Right behind them is probably Josh and Dean. They're both staffers. This isn't their first rodeo. Their expectation level is going to be pretty much right in the middle of the road. Like, all right, we're here to have fun. There's a reason that's their team name. Josh may be the most dangerous 10 handicap on the planet because that man will drop a 32 on you just like that. And he's got the best coattail rider on the planet in his cart with him. So I think they could be very, very dangerous. It all depends on Josh is healthy. And when the last time Dean actually swung a golf club was for like more than like 20, 30 minutes. I'm guessing it was 2022. And since he's in the chat, I can't wait to see this blow up in a minute. And he thought I was on the toilet, so I'm kind of mad at him. So Josh plays amazing. Dean soils himself violently, but he gets carried by Josh, so it works out fine.
So if I'm paraphrasing, Josh is the J-Tub of tens.
Yes.
Okay. Illiterate, what's your thoughts on First and Fun?
Well, I mean, First and Fun, and Dean is going to be first in the toilet where Wardy is. So, but yeah, this is a great pairing. I mean, you know, Josh is coming in as a 10, which is kind of hard to believe, but and again, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything like that because this guy hasn't missed a fairway since the first Gulf War. I mean, so the Carter administration, you know, whatever you want to say, you know, the guy just doesn't miss fairways, and I think that sets up really well for the shamble, you know, best ball. But to Wardy's point, you know, Dean probably hasn't, you know, played a bunch of golf since last year. So how's his game going to come in? And yeah, I mean, they're live, and if Dean can really play well, I think this team has a chance. But you know, you got to get through day one, you know, and can they get it, keep it going, and keep it within striking distance where they can get to that best ball day. Dean, word of advice: just make sure that JB has a Fresca like fresh in hand for day two, and you just try to put him in power save mode and just ride him out.
I do think that 7. I think that the best value on the board. Right. 9.2 is what the percentage right now is of the number of picks they've gotten from the THP universe. So let's segue to who's gotten the most love from the THP universe. Canyon Cowboys. Jank, lowest handicap in the field at 5.2. Rob Brand, with a bunch of like.
Let's hear you try to pronounce it. Come on.
I think it's Rob Brand.
Rob Brandl
This is
Give the people what they want.
we're just gonna call him Rob. So here is the first of sort of like we talked about a low low, we talked about sort of a low mid, we just talked about two mids. Here's a different pairing profile. Here's a low high, right? I do think that the format hurt them the most. I said that on the forum. Someone asked me which one of the teams were hurt the most by not having Shamble best ball versus combined score. I think it's them. Okay. But they do have the same profile as last year's champion, Tom Brady. This is the type of a team that could take advantage of Rob's pops and sort of hang around and then make a run on day two. If they didn't shoot themselves out of it, they're gonna get Rob's gonna get a ton of strokes on day two. And could they take advantage of it, sort of ham and egg themselves to a best ball run, and then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, what just happened? They won. That could absolutely. That script is there. But can they get to day two with that type of chance? Scoob, let's start with you this time.
I think they can, because what I've heard about, and it's Rob Randall GZ.
Okay, thank you.
Up and down game.
Thank you. For
little inconsistent off the tee, but you're partnered with Jank, who I've heard putter can catch fire, and hear that he can hit driver as far as a Wildcat for Life 3-iron. So if Jank is finding the fairway, I think they can survive. And to your point on best ball, this is a team that can make a run.
Yeah, I think they absolutely can. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I set the line wrong. 10-1 was too good to be true, but 22.37% of the THP universe has already picked them. I moved them from 10-1 to 7-1 because of all of the action that has come in on this team.
Canyon Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, is that a tie-in, right?
I don't know.
That's personal.
Illiterate. Your thoughts on the Canyon Cowboys, right? Like, I mean, the script's there. Am I right? The script's there. Like, we saw this happen last year.
The script is definitely there. Like I say, the added element is alt shot. I think this team, just at 10-1 originally, I think it was the best value on the board. I've played with Jank before. It's been several years ago, but man, this guy can golf his ball, and I've been following him on the Grant, and he's grinding. He is ready to roll. Okay. He's not been cubbied up north, where I can't really get out and play yet because of the weather. I mean, he's out there grinding, every weekend, multiple times. I like this guy. I don't normally try to put somebody over like this, but this guy is a 5.2 that plays like a 5.2. He's legit. And, our guy Rob here, he's been playing a lot of golf too. This is, again, I think what's going to make or break this team, I think they're going to get through the combined score okay, because I think Jank's going to find the fairway out here. He's going to put Rob in some great spots, maybe utilize some pops and get through this, navigate that first 18. Can they get through the alt shot and be within striking distance on day two? Because day two, there's pops to be had for Rob, and Jank can get hot with the putter. Could be some birdies out there. I like this team a lot.
Wardy, before you talk about them, what do y'all think the score is? What do you think leads at the end of day one? Where do you think the lead is, and where do you think that this team has to be to legitimately stay in it? Because we know that they're going to get a ton of pop. Well, at least Rob is going to get a ton of pops on day two, where it could set up very, very well for like one of those runs that we've talked about before. But where would they have to be? Where do you think the lead is, Wardy?
Oh God.
It's going to be a US Open +3.
It's going to be, I was going to say it's probably going to be close to like 2 under, just because I think the alt shot's going to do a lot of damage.
I think it's plus. I think it's on the plus side.
I'm at
the pops are throwing it off. I don't know. I think one of the groups is going to catch fire. Personally, I don't think it's going to last, but I think it's going to come out hot and burn bright, die young, and then
+3 is where I'm thinking.
Yeah, so like anywhere, what you think 5? Wardy thinks it's going to be in red. I think that it's somewhere around probably +2 is what I thought. So yeah, they need to stay within 6 of the lead. probably to have a chance. So somewhere around +8 at the end of day one may not look great on the scorecard, but puts them well in position to make that best ball run. Wardy, any other thoughts on them before I get to?
Big Mac has just come to your window, Wardy. He said, "I'll take the over on
I
minus
just
2."
saw that. I'm
Wow.
gonna ban him after this thing's over. So we just lost a great poker legend a few days ago, and he was the king of the high-low flop. You know, he's won a couple bracelets with that.
Deuce.
I think you got to be careful when you put a high with a low. If the low starts like, "Hey, dude, you've got this. Just put me in play. I got you. Don't worry, but I got you." That 19 might play like a 14, and all of a sudden they got 5 in a bag. So it can be dangerous. It all kind of depends on how they play. Jank being from Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. They say. I expect this game to carry pretty well.
Let's get to sort of like the back end of this, right? Where I think that you're going to see some, now here's a sort of a high mid. I love the name Fire in the Hole, Blazington and Buffalo Plunger.
That's a terrible name.
Such a I love both of their names. I love the name The Fire in the Hole. This is a mid.
Wardy likes it because he's on the toilet. The old plunger.
I am sitting in I can't swear. This sucks.
I haven't been I haven't been able to see the live comments because I've been running the banners. I can't believe that no one has given me pops on the t-shirt. This is Horseman country. You know what, Scoob? You didn't grow up watching it. You didn't grow up watching NWA, did you?
I picked it up late.
Okay.
Oh, is that a legit 4 Horseman shirt?
It's a 4 Horseman shirt.
That's amazing.
So here's Blazing, flashing a 4 here for them.
Loving the fact like 2 of them.
So this is sort of the when Canyon Cowboys. I forgot to mention they're right on the median average, right? So Fire in the Hole is the first team that is higher than the median average handicap of the field. But they come in with you get a 14 and a 16 adjusted probably together. They both have event experience. I think that they're just going to have to, this is going to be one of those teams, they could make a best ball run, right? Like, I mean, Buffalo Plunger is going to pop on all but 2 holes on day 2. Blazington's going to, pop on all but 4. Like, what's wrong with them making a run? Well, alternate shot lurks, combined score lurks. They could be, this is the type of team that could be like me and Camp Ilo Baxter in 18, where by the time we made the best ball run, it was too late. 29 on the back was still 8 back of a litter in them, right? The run happened too late. This could happen to them if they don't avoid disaster on day 1. Wardy, I'll start with you. Fire in the Hole.
Well, bad news for this team. Blazington's from Philly. I hate everything Philadelphia related. They threw batteries at Santa Claus. They can catch on fire, and I don't mean that in a good way. Sorry, Buffalo Plunger. I don't actually remember where you're from, and I'm too busy doing other things. Yeah, well, I thought that, but that's way too obvious. There's no way it's that obvious. Sorry, I hope they finish last, all because he's from Philly. Sorry, bud, you should move. I know an agent.
Okay. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean, isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, well, that whole
Scoob,
thing should be burned down.
Scoob, talk to me about Fire in the Hole's chances.
I think this format is going to challenge them a little bit because typically when you're in this 14, 15, 13 handicap range, you can rattle off a lot of pars, and then you can find a whole bunch of net doubles, especially at a course like Valley Hack. And if they both show up,
if they
I think they're
both
going to
make
be right
net
there.
double, then all of a sudden it's +4 on that hole, and then you start staring into this abyss.
Like, and we talked about how the back nine's a challenge,
right?
So
Nice from Buffalo. Okay.
I hope they prove me wrong. Can find some unicorn magic out there, and be right there on day 2.
Literally, give me the case. So both Wardy and Scooby gave me the case against them making a run. What is the case for them making a run?
I mean, you have Blazenden, right? I mean,
right. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
yes, we have that guy.
So I played with him, down in Myrtle last year, and he's a lot of fun to play with, and he's sneaky good. And I think I know the format day one really works against this team just based off of handicaps, but I think if they can somehow try to keep this thing together, this is really a team that you could see make a run on day two, utilizing their pops and just kind of playing their own ball out there. They could ham and egg it up on day two, but day one is a tough format. And I think if they can survive day one and stay within striking distance, this is a team like your team that could shoot a 9 under, or whatever on day two, shoot 29 on the back and make a run. You just never know.
And we're getting some reports in the chat that the 5 wood's on fire for this team. So if that finds the fairway in that first 18, takes net double off the board.
I like that.
Well, I mean, Dennis was saying if the 5 wood is working. So now I've got doubt in my mind of is the 5 wood really the club? So
I hear it's on fire.
9.2% of the THP universe like fire in the hole. Now let's move on and hit the east side of the LBC. Okay. We've got Scooby, are you going to do it? I just hit the east side of the LBC. Are you going to do it, Scooby?
I'm thinking about it. Is it a clear black night? The clear white moon? Junkyard is on the green, trying to consume the speed of the grain at Old Valley Hack to show THP a birdie attack. Is that the team we're talking about?
Yes, that is the team that we're talking about. Regulators mount up. They go off at 14-1. We get Junkyard. 9.7. He goes out. So this is sort of like the mid high.
Scratch golf journey 5 wood strategy didn't work for me.
R. Lewis 1323, and R. Lewis, love you, man. We've interacted on the forum. Lose the numbers. How many of these are you gonna have to watch before you lose the numbers?
It's Arlu.
Yeah.
Yeah, he changed it to Arlu.
He dropped the numbers.
Did he drop the numbers already?
And you make them 14-1.
Right.
Didn't work.
Okay, well, I mean, it didn't work. Okay. So
13-1 now without the numbers.
Right. He dropped a number. I made him 13-1. This is the only mid-high in the field, by the way. So I'm going to start with the literate. They're 4 strokes higher than the median average. Feels like a little bit of a tall order. Of course, you're not going to like them as much as like the Cowboys, because they don't have Jank, right? The Cowboys have Jank and they don't, right? Since you put him over so big, I'm going to start putting him over. What's the case for them? Tell me about what you think about the regulators.
This is another team I think you get really great value on at 14-1. 14-1. You've got, Junkyard, who's a single digit, maybe rounds up to a 10, dangerous, and then you have Arlu, formerly known as R. Lewis 1323, and he's coming in as a 24. And I think that, again, if Junkyard, is Junkyard good with the driver? Is Arlu good with the driver? I mean, I think if these guys are able to keep it in play and give them a good starting position on day one, they could hang around, during the combined score if they can keep it together. But I think where it's really going to be tough, and we keep going back to this, is the alt shot. But this is a team, again, just like we talked about, if they're hanging around after day one, they're dangerous. They're very, very dangerous. I press the 14-1. I press the 14-1 here on these guys on day two if they're in striking.
Right. If they're within 6 shots of the lead, they're live, right? That's a live dog all day long. If they could stay within 6, 7 of the lead, they could make a run, because Junkyard's gonna get pops. Get about 10 of them, and then you got 24 coming from Arlu, right? Like that. That is a perfect ham and egg scenario. Wardy, thoughts on the regulators?
Best name in the entire format. I just bet my Tonio back, and I put that on the forum, so I'm like in a really bad mood. And Junkyard's Canadian, so bad news for this team. His weather right now is pure trash, and when it starts to get good, he's going to be in Virginia. So he hasn't swung a golf club in God knows how long. I don't like their odds. Arlu, great name. I think he's going to do really well, but he's from Ohio.
Okay.
This team's not going to do very good. I'm going to be honest.
Scoob, we'll come to you.
All right. So I had the privilege to play with Junkyard a couple times. He's a great THPer. I think he's gonna love the experience being a first timer here. I believe he might play on the wrong side of the ball, but he can golf his ball. He can play. The only concern there is when I looked at the last signature, he's got 2 putters in there. Is there going to be some putter concern? What do you take to Ballyhack? And then you look at Arlu.
A lot of lefties in this group.
There is a lot of lefties, but I think this could be a sneaky team, kind of like that Black Onyx ZTF bag that Arlu is rocking from Bag Boy there. I think it's going to come down to that M-Craft putter he has. Is he handy with the steel, if you know what I mean?
Yes. I thought lefties have to announce when they're within like 200 yards of a golf course, so everyone's aware. It's very frustrating. There's so many in this event.
JB Cobb III just made. Hold on. He just made the
more is putting right-handed.
JB Cobb III. I haven't been doing this, but I have to put this. I have to put this on. Wait, someone's laughing.
LOL.
That's not what I wanted. Oh, JB Cobb III made the greatest comment I've seen on a live stream ever. M Ward equals the Bizarro Canadan. That is so. Have
you ever wanted to see someone get banned live? Because it's about to freaking happen. Hold on a minute.
Look,
where is his name?
before I leave the regulators, I would not be surprised if we glance in the cut on day 2 and see them, with 16 balls and 1 in the hole, right?
They're going to glance in the cut and see my homie Jank is what they're going to see.
Okay, let's try to finish this. We're way over time, right? I thought we could do this in an hour. We're way over time, but we have to talk about every team. We have to make a couple picks here. We the people. Yes, sir. This is my man Hibbsy, Captain Hibbs, anchoring this down. This is the only ha pairing in the situation. It's mainly because like the way I do highs is 16 and above, right? So that's sort of my definition. I think that his iron game is going to have to come to play here. He goes out with high level hacker, 27.9. I'm going to go last on this one because I think there's a path for them, but I'll start with Scoob.
Are they going to be focused on the golf or be focused on trying to kidnap a couple goats? No, I think they're going to have a great time. We've talked about it. High with this format's going to be a little tough, and I'll cede the floor here with the clock to the other gentleman.
Literate, talk to me about we the people.
Well, I mean, it's a high pairing. This is the first event maybe that Hibbs is coming in healthy. So I think that's a good thing. And he's got a super high, guy that's going to double pop on a lot of holes. And depending on how the handicap falls for Hibbs, I mean, he may get a double pop, if the slope is really high or whatever on the course there. So if he comes in at a course rated 19, he may get a double pop as well. But again, I just think the format just doesn't play really into their hand here. I love the name. In my opinion, I think they've got the best team name. But I just think this format just is not going to be kind to them. And day 1 is going to be – they're going to be first in fun come day 2.
Wardy.
They have the best attire of the entire event. That polo that they're going to be wearing, I literally ordered it. It should be here next week. So for that, I support them. If David Iron's game is on, they could be pretty sneaky. But because I am in a salty freaking mood, he may not be the best hibbler in that family when we factor in pops.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's just like a haymaker. I wasn't expecting that. We got.
I know Marjorie's in the room. I just feel like talking trash.
we got Grumpy Wardy today, and I wasn't totally expecting that.
Marjorie, I meant you're the better golfer. Oh my god.
Yeah, is she pissed?
She's like, I need to shut my mouth.
So here's the deal. Yes, everything that y'all have said is correct. The high, the format doesn't exactly favor them, but let me tell you what the path is, right? I think there's a path because they're going to get unlike some of these other teams that we liked a lot, they're still getting a ton pops at 70%. Okay. They're getting a ton in alt shot too. If they can hold this thing together, there is a path for them to stay in this. There is a path for them to stay between 6 and 8 back. If Hibbs's if Hibbsy's iron game is where I think that it's progressing. If we don't know a whole lot about high level Hacker, he was very quiet in the lead up. That's part of the problem here because I don't know why he's a 28, right? There's a variety of different reasons, but you know what? If things start clicking, he takes advantage of his double pops in some cases. They can keep their head above water and use the pops to their advantage to make a best ball run. A reminder, Hibbsy, if you're watching, no one else is willing to make a case for you to win this thing, and I just did. So we the people. Let's get to predictions. So let's predict a winner. We broke down all the teams. Okay. I will start with Wardy. We Captain Maynard's already given us his pick. Anime guys.
I know. He jumped my pick.
He jumped your pick.
He did. I'm going to go with the God of Thunder just because.
So who are you picking to win this thing and why?
I pick Anime Gods not just because they're the lowest handicap combined. Neil's playing some pretty filthy golf. Now, I understand he could take the Icarito model and fly too high to the sun and come crashing and burning. But I also am aware that he does have backup at any given moment. Even a guy from Montana.
Dean wants you to give a top three. I think, is that to everyone?
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
I go Anime Gods, First and Fun, Regulators. We the people in fourth. Just so unfair.
Okay. So, but your pick to win is Anime Gods.
Anime Gods, yeah.
Okay. Scooby, who do you think is going to win this thing and why?
I'm going to go with First and Fun. The format suits them. The course knowledge suits them. I think JB's playing some hot golf. They're my pick.
Okay. First and Fun for Scoob. Illiterate, the 2018 THP champion. Who do you think gets to the end here and survives Ballyhack and wins?
Give me the grandest team of them all. Give me America's team. Give me the Canyon Cowboys are going to run away with this thing.
Okay, so, God, that man, he loves Jank. He loves them, right? I went back and
forth. I love
forth
Rob, too, man. These guys are playing. These guys are playing golf right now. There's a lot to be said for having swings right now.
So I went and I waffled on this pick all day. I really did. But I had a
Can I guess?
No, not going to guess.
No,
you're not guessing. So, just like Wardy said, Doyle Brunson died a couple days ago. Okay. And I went into my attic to look for my copy of Super System. Okay.
You would own that. That's awesome.
Okay. This is the Bible written by Texas Dolly himself. And the next time that I get 10 deuce, I'm 3-betting. Okay. But on top of this Super Systems, I found this little jewel. This is a catechism for adults. I am Roman Catholic, and I am not picking against anybody whose name is the Vatican. So my pick,
just like a homer pick,
is the Vatican.
That's who I was going to guess.
Final thoughts. I'll start with Wardy. Final thoughts about this one.
This event's going to be a lot of fun. Unrelated, I hate Dean. I love the Hibbler family. They're both amazing. Just in case I've made them mad, Marjorie is very fiery. This event's really going to be a lot of fun. I think the winner ultimately is going to be Ballyhack, and this course is going to murder 12 people, and it's going to be a lot of fun to follow on the forum.
Scoob, final thoughts.
It's going to be great. I think block your calendars to be able to really soak it in and follow it come Monday, Tuesday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
illiterate. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Thank you, Bag Boy. Thank you, Budget Golf. You guys are longtime supporters of the THP universe, so thank you. You guys are going to be winners here, as well as the course Ballyhack. It's going to be amazing watching these guys play, and let there be carnage.
I think I'll answer. Dean did not ask me this, but I think that it's going to be the Vatican, First and Fun, and the Cowboys. If I was going to trifecta box this thing, that's what I would do. He didn't ask me. He asked Wardy that. Here's some of my final thoughts. I want everyone. We have another event going on at Ballyhack. You're going to get a preview for that shot scope. Let's get in there and support those guys that are doing that. Let's ask Gavin and Jen a bunch of questions and learn a lot about what they've got going on, and then turn around and buy that stuff from Budget. Okay, like the X5 is a great product. Let's get it from them. Like, we talk a lot about, like, supporting the live threads. Let's support these guys. It's a shame that, like, the person that Mike won the 2018 championship, we can't find with a search warrant, right? Like,
you can't find your partner anymore too.
Right. That's a shame, right? Like, we've been afforded awesome opportunities as members of this community, and it's incumbent upon us, that we want other people to get those opportunities, that we need to support the people that are doing these events and these experiences, and jump in the live thread and make them see our love. So that's my final thought of the day. So for M. Ward, for my man Scoob, even though he's on Team Paradise alumni, for my man Illiterate, this has been JDax, and we are out.